out. So as a historian, I was like, I gotta find this place. So that's how it happened. I got online and did some research on Magnolia Hotel, which led me to Bill's video.
Oh, wow.
And Mary Jo's video of saving the building, and then your picture was at the bottom. And so I said, well, I gotta get into this building. And so I called Bill Bender, and I said, by any chance, would we get in? And he's like, well, how did you know the owner?
Yeah, it wasn't for sale at the time,
Exactly.
but I actually went to high school, same graduating class as one of the owners, and so the story just kept unfolding.
And so when I saw this old building being saved, when we walked in this building, you could just feel it saying, you know, the same thing. Please save it, save me.
We wanted to do something like this
All the time.
as a couple, and so we were looking for a historical, perfect structure, and this one just came its way.
The movie, the miniseries True Women, and novel, and then we've got Darcy Dwyer, who's done so many True Women tours through here, and that's just incredible. It's just to be able to continue the legacy.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so beautiful about this building, is that everybody wants to know more about it. It's been sitting here, you know. And what I thought was so cute was how some of the people who had lived here all their lives said, I had no idea this was the Magnolia Hotel. It's because there were no signs.
Yes.
It became an apartment in 1930, so you
It's
just
just
think
that old
it's-
yellow building, you know, across from the mattress factory.
That's
And what in the
exactly
world?
right.
Yeah.
So now when you say, no, it's more than that, everybody's like, I knew it had to be something more. And that's the fun part of it. It's like, are you nuts? You know, you'll never get this done. And that's because she can't see what I see. She doesn't, I guess a visionary, you know, you have to see beyond what's right here. And I can see it's going to be beautiful someday. You get to see the old robe. And remember, this is 1840 that we're talking about here. You know, that's the old robe, this is the old weight. And I love how it's been worn from rubbing the other weight that's in here.
Just from going up and down.
Yeah. So to me, this is a piece of history right here of how many times it's gone up and down and it's being used. We're desperately trying to keep it all original as possible. So what we did do is, like in a case like this is so that you see the crack,
Right.
where you can see all the dimples of the old window. What we do is we go upstairs and we try and take some of the old paintings from upstairs and bring them downstairs, and then use the antique window paintings that we've gotten from other people upstairs. So at least the bottom floor will be as original as possible. Well, in the beginning, we did a lot of the like stripping, because I wanted to be able to see what was underneath the wall, the removing of the old wood and everything. But then when it came down to the actual,
We've got an excellent contractor, and they've done a great job here, and they've repainted the ceiling with the original colors.
That's the original color.
Oh, really?
So what he did an incredible job. I mean, we had one little strip. He took it and he had it matched. And so this is the actual original color that it was.
We want to keep it in an original state. We've lost a piece there, and we're going to try to find some. We've got a source for the original only pine to replace that piece of wood there. Excellent. We want to make it as original as we can.
Heard some things about the bell, because it was like, well, maybe the bell from the Alamo was here, or maybe it wasn't.
Oh, that was hilarious.
But there was a story about going out and ringing the bell when the stagecoaches would come in, which would make sense because this was the stagecoach part of it.
Right.
But there was still the question mark of, well, now was that really the bell for? It's a mystery.
It really, the bell was here, and it was so much fun because we had a reporter she called me from San Antonio, and she never told me she was interviewing me. She said she was a historian doing a story on the bell. And I said, okay, and she said, so there's a sign out, and, what do you think? And so I told her, I said, well, you gotta remember, this is an historical sign. This is part of the woman's tour, the True Women's Tour. And so I'm telling her all about how I'm not positive because, I haven't done research. So she made it out to seem that we weren't really sure. And I thought, she just asked the wrong person. I didn't know yet, So I did some research, and I got in touch with the Dars, the Dars of the Republic, and we went down to the Alamo and everything, and yes, the bell was here. And in fact, we actually have the names of the gentleman who owned the bell, and it was one of the original, the Johnsons, one of the original owners. And so they got it through a friend who found it in the river, who gave it to him, who gave it to the owner, and it
Wow,
stayed here
it's amazing you made it
forever.
back.
Yeah, so it was here. In fact, I'm trying so hard to figure out a way where I can include the city in getting a reproduction of the Alamo Bell, because we went to the Alamo, and when you walk in, if you look to the first door to the right, there's the bell. And it's very small. It's not big like you would think.
No, it's not.
I had envisioned it like the Liberty.
14-inch diameter.
Yeah.
So it's a very small bell.
Oh, it'd be a great idea to make a reproduction and
So
put
that's
it
what
here
I
on
want.
site.
That's,
And
I want
Right
to
out
include
here
the
where
city. You know?
Where would have been.
Yeah. All of the photographers love this wall. Whenever a photographer comes over, this is what they want to take a picture of. And that's because you can see all the different layers. You know, you have your original, and then there's one wallpaper, another, and it kind of shows the aging. So we were thinking about restoring all around it except putting a frame right here, so you can still see that. Because everybody's like, no, don't cover it up. At the Heritage Museum was actually where you would go and get your items from the S&H Green Stamp. It was an S&H Green Stamp store. Actually, what you're in, so many people, they don't realize it, but this is the original hotel. This is the original Magnolia Hotel. They had the stagecoach, and then they added this. And then after they added the hotel, then this became the service quarters.
so this is the Lime Creek.
Yes, totally Lime Creek. Yes.
This is the original Lime Creek structure that had the 2 rooms. So these were 2 different rooms that they offered from the stagecoach. And then what year did they connect everything?
And then around in 1848, they ended up connecting them all together. And then this became the servants, and that became the hotel. And then in the 30s, they turned this into a small little apartment, and they added the tiny little kitchen. And then everybody's like, oh, it's so cute.
I like the home sweet home above the mantle. That is so pretty.
That is something I would like to know. When did it come? You know, did Inez and Edgar add it?
Probably 36 when they remodeled the whole place. I think that would make sense.
What a sweet touch. You know, I think that's such a cute little touch. So when it was a servants' quarter, they actually had, the kitchen was outside, so because you can't cook inside because it got too hot. What happened was when James Campbell, when he purchased his property, he originally was going to put a fort on this property. And so when he came over here and he was going to build a fort, but they said, you know, we're not having any Indian problems. It's okay. So they actually used the wood that they were going to build a fort, and they made it into a house instead.
Ah, okay.
And then the Indians attacked.
Oh, really?
And so they quickly came and they dug out this by hand and made it into an Indian raid shelter. So, and it was like a big story. And on the 4th of July in 1855,
1855.
they all came, and the Indians came and kidnapped 3 men. And so all the men went out to save the men and to get the Indians, and all of the women and children stayed down here making bullets.
Interesting too, because there's these little windows out.
Yes.
It almost looks like they could use those to
That's-
defend themselves. And
Well, we were
That's what it
told.
was, and we were told they were in here and they used those portals to shoot.
They did all their pickling, and they kept it down here because it was a lot cooler. So it became a cellar after that. And then Inez used this. She had a kiln, and she did her own
this is
pottery.
her pottery.
So
Oh my
she did her
goodness.
pottery in here. That's why you'll find some of the pottery around the house. That was hers. I actually have her first piece. I found it, and
Are
it
you
says.
serious?
It says on the back, Inez's first pottery piece.
This timber here is one of the ones where I remember seeing there's the bark
Right.
And that's what's
on
upstairs.
here.
And these timbers go the full length of the building, so these are quite large timbers with the original bark. And it's amazing how well these have held up over the years.
When we were first inspecting the property and taking a look at it for you to purchase, that the condition of the timbers and the foundation were a big plus.
You can see how soft
They
it
certainly
is.
were.
So in
That
time,
really
it's
showed
gradually
me that this was a solid
deteriorating.
building
You know,
once we saw it.
so-
Bill, a lot of the construction Now they sawed the wood.
Gets to work on the plumbing where it's cool.
I think that's why we find so many toys down here.
You think
Because
the children play down
Yeah,
here?
I really think they did because I find so many marbles, you know, and lots of little trinkets, and so I think, and I love the little Cracker Jack toys we find.
This exact unit restored at a restaurant in,
Did it have the jar?
was it Bryan, College Station?
Oh,
Flour in that little window?
you would put it in
Oh, up there. What-
here,
Yeah.
and then you would sift it and come out there. And I had a story. This lady told me that every day they would make bread. It's completely restored, and I want to bring it downstairs so I can show everybody. Not only am I a historian, I'm also a genealogist. So when I learn something about the history of the house, it's not just going to stop at, okay, James Campbell built the house in 1840. I want to know James Campbell's wife, his children, their grandchildren, and so I kind of drive myself crazy learning everything about the building.
The San Antonio Historical Society has expressed some interest in the building and said that we can submit our bid for a grant to repair that second story balcony. So I think we'll continue to work towards that.
That's excellent. What's the name of that
The
organization?
San Antonio Historical Society.
Excellent.
So because this relationship with the Alamo, with the Dars, that they felt that it was connected and that they would be able to support that with some of their grant money.
Excellent.
Everything was meant to happen the way it did.
Every step of the way.
Yeah, and there's
Because if you
still a
picture
lot of
it with that-
synchronicity coming
And it
into
took a while
play.
to convince the family. Aaron wrote a fantastic letter describing what our plans were, and I think that really helped convince the family that we were the right people to buy it.
They really wanted to know the history would be preserved.
And we're gonna do it.
You're doing a great
Bill's
job.
help. We
Oh,
couldn't
you're
have done it
doing-
without Bill. No
Yeah.
way.
Bill Bender can get the job done.
Facebook to Bender Realty or search BillBender.com. We build dreams, new friendships, and memories. Bender Realty.